story sounds like a very bad joke, albeit one without a punchline. A veteran seeks help for various trauma that he has endured, and right away, the Veterans Affairs rep points to the nuclear option, i.e. suggesting that he consider assisted suicide. What were your initial thoughts when you heard about this story?
Well, the veteran community, like all other communities, have diverse opinion, but they're pretty united on this one. Shock and dismay, although the responses that because I'm a central point in the veteran community, so I get all the crosswinds, they come right here. And we have people that had trouble believing it at first, from people that weren't shocked at all because of their own personal experiences with Veterans Affairs. And I have to say, no, David, Veterans Affairs does help people. They've helped me, they've helped so many others, but that doesn't mean there's not big gaps. And this is certainly, to say the least, a big gap.
No, and suicide is a serious thing, I understand, with veterans, Mark. I mean, I understand the figures. 12 Canadian Forces members died by suicide last year. Between 2015 and 2019, 69 others died via suicide. So this is, not some bizarre anomaly. Members of the armed forces, for whatever reason, are taking their own lives. Why do you think this Veterans Affairs Canada representative suggested suicide to begin with?
Well, we got a couple of different possibilities here, right? Either this person was working as a one-off, as a Dr. Meincke, and is just absolutely out of their mind, or this is somewhere part of the brief, because March next year, you feeling a little blue? We'll kill you. That's how it's going to be. There's going to be very little barrier to entry for the MAID program. Right now, mental health is not included with the MAID program, but from what I'm getting from the insider information that I'm receiving, especially since the story has broke, this does not appear to be an isolated incident. Veterans Affairs Canada right now is parading as if it is an isolated incident, which of course we all hope for. We just hope this is some crazy person that was having a strange day that offered this to this veteran. But I don't know if that's the truth. I hope it's the truth, but I am getting more and more notes from people, more direct messages and emails suggesting that that is not the case, including just yesterday, somebody came to me and they are of the belief that they are approved for the MAID program because of mental health.
Wow. And Mark, this is indeed a key question. Was this Veterans Affairs Canada representative, was it a lone wolf, if you will, somebody that went off the reservation and suggested this terrible option, or is this somehow matter of policy? I can tell you Veterans Affairs Canada did issue a statement about this, and it reads, quote, Veterans Affairs Canada deeply regrets what transpired, end quote, and also, quote, appropriate administrative action will be taken, end quote. But they did not discuss the nitty-gritty of what that means. What do you think it means based on your previous dealings with Veterans Affairs Canada?
Well, there was some other wording there that wasn't included as well, some questions that haven't been answered. They haven't answered, has anybody else done this? What was the reason? Was this a staff meeting gone wrong? So we don't know the scope of this yet. And I'm hoping and praying that this is a one-off and that Veterans Affairs would never promote this. But what's shocking right now, David, is that in the social media realm, there are lots of people that are actually promoting this, that think it's actually a good idea to offer the MAID program for people that don't have any other options. And one of the super sad things about this is that the current help that is offered by the OSI clinics, OSIS, and, well, not OSIS, but the OSI clinics and Veterans Affairs Canada has an efficacy rate that ranges between 12 and 16%. So if you're outside that 12 to 16% and you don't know about any other options that are out there, it is understandable that somebody out of desperation is going to consider suicide. But there are other options out there The issue is barrier to entry to access those options that have a far higher efficacy rate of 12 to 16%. I've seen numerous modalities of healing that are past 80%, but Veterans Affairs Canada won't touch them with a 10-foot pole, and that is the problem.
Wow, that is fascinating. You know, Mark, it's almost, I mean, I've mentioned this before, that, you know, I look at the 1973 sci-fi film Soylent Green, which is set in 2022, and how eerily prescient it has been on so many points, such as food replacement. Right now, you have people with the World Economic Forum suggesting we eat bugs. Soylent Green is the name of a food replacement. I won't spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen the movie. It makes bugs look like T-bone steaks. And also, suicide is actively encouraged. You're bribed with benefits for your family members if you decide to opt out. And I just can't help but think, you know, how bang on that sci-fi film was for our horrible reality right now. But then again, when it comes to Veterans Affairs, Mark, I got to ask you, we've seen with this Trudeau administration how they deal with veterans, whereas they give Omar Khadr, our homegrown Al-Qaeda terrorist and murderer, a $10.5 million paycheck. The following year, they told a friend of yours at Edmonton that military veterans serving Canada are asking for too much. Those were Prime Minister Trudeau's words. So I guess when I'm connecting the dots here, if our veterans are asking for too much, well, what better way than to, you know, turn off the whining, if you will, than to advocate they take an exit? I find this disturbing and egregious and outrageous. What are your thoughts, my friend?
Well, David, let's just hope that what is happening here is ineptitude. That's the best case scenario. This is just, they don't know what else to offer, so they're offering assisted suicide. They don't know about all the therapies that I know about, that I highlight on my show on a weekly basis. They just don't know. They don't know about it, or don't have access to it, or there's some other barrier. Let's hope it's just ineptitude. However, what I'm gleaning from all the response in the veteran population is that we're a little bit more cynical. We do believe that it's a budgetary decision. I did a little rant on Facebook saying the same thing. I never would have said that 2 or 3 years ago. No chance. I would have thought there's got to be another explanation. But it could be that cold, David. It could be that this is, in fact, a budgetary decision wrapped up as compassion.
What you just saw was an excerpt from my nightly show, the Ezra Levant Show. Every weekday, I do a monologue. Usually it's about half an hour. Then I interview an interesting guest, and then we read my hate mail or my fan mail, whichever is more fun. It's only available behind a paywall, though. That's how we pay our bills here at Rebel News. We don't take a dime from Justin Trudeau. But the good news is it's only $8 a month, about half the price of Netflix. And in addition to my nightly show, you also get weekly shows from 4 other friends here at Rebel News. So you're getting 36 shows a month just for $8. I think it's worth it. And even if you're not quite sure, do it anyways, because we rely on viewers like you to keep us free and independent. I promise you I'll never take a dime from Trudeau. Just go to rebelnewsplus.com and click subscribe. Thanks.